In a surprising move, Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed his willingness to engage in a meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in Moscow, a proposal which Ukraine has firmly labeled as unacceptable. This willingness is emerging amid the ongoing 3.5-year conflict, raising critical questions about the path to peace. During a news conference at the conclusion of his visit to China, Putin revealed that he had never ruled out the idea of such a meeting, emphasizing that if a peace agreement is not reached, Russia would pursue its objectives through military means. Donald Trump asked me for such a meeting, and I said, yes, it's possible, let Zelenskyy come to Moscow, he stated, suggesting that the meeting held potential value. Is there any point? Let's see, he addressed the audience in Beijing, while simultaneously questioning the legitimacy of Zelenskyy by calling for elections. This raises an eyebrow. What does Putin really mean by questioning the legitimacy of his counterpart? The ambiguity of his statement could imply a challenging political landscape ahead. U.S. President Trump has been actively working towards mediation, previously suggesting a direct face-to-face discussion between Putin and Zelenskyy following his talks with the Russian leader in Alaska mid-August. However, as of now, no noticeable progress has been reported, with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz positing Geneva as a potential negotiation site, which is another twist in an already complex diplomatic scenario. Putin's demands further complicate matters, as he has insisted on the cessation of martial law in Ukraine and proposed a referendum regarding territorial issues, both of which Ukraine has affirmatively rejected. Russia has reiterated that any resolution to the conflict must involve its retention of the 4 regions it annexed in 2022. On the other hand, Ukraine remains steadfast, declaring there will be no agreements that require them to concede their territory. Responding to Putin's statements, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha asserted that there are serious proposals from 7 nations looking to facilitate a meeting between the two leaders, noting that Zelenskyy is prepared to engage at any point in time. Yet, Putin continues to toy with everyone by presenting proposals that are clearly unacceptable. Only by increasing the pressure will we motivate Russia to undertake the peace process seriously, Sybiha contended. This sentiment raises the question, can diplomacy triumph over such a significant impasse? Putin, however, remains optimistic about a potential resolution. He shared that the conflict could end with mutual agreement if rationality prevails, hinting at a flicker of hope, yet warning that if not, military solutions would have to be pursued. Let's see how the situation develops. If not, then we will have to resolve all our tasks militarily, he advised reporters, underscoring the tension in his tone. Al Jazeera's Dorsa Jabari, reporting from Moscow, reflected on Putin's perspective, suggesting that he believes the Trump administration understands Russia's standpoint and might be open to negotiations, provided that Russia's security needs are acknowledged. This assertion invites scrutiny. Are both sides truly willing to budge in light of their emphasizing security guarantees? Putin's recent trip to Beijing for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit attracted global leaders, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and resulted in over 20 agreements across sectors like energy and infrastructure, deepening ties with China. The cooperation between these two nations illustrates a strategic alignment that may further impact the global geopolitical climate. Meanwhile, President Trump revealed on Wednesday that he intends to have a conversation with Putin shortly, adding that he does not need to convey specific messages regarding the war's termination, because he knows where I stand, and he'll make a decision one way or another. Trump added a note of caution. Whatever his decision is, we'll either be happy about it or unhappy about it. And if we're unhappy about it, you'll see things happen. Will the U.S. response dictate the future of this conflict? As talk of potential dialogues continues, Zelenskyy is set to engage with Trump on Thursday to advocate for fresh sanctions against Russia. Speaking from Copenhagen, he mentioned having received supportive signals from the U.S., emphasizing the importance of a solid backing from allies. In an intriguing development, Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reported from the White House, indicating that Trump's discussion with Putin might include the possibility of a meeting between Putin and Zelenskyy to attempt to negotiate an end to the prolonged conflict. Although Putin has dismissed any meetings unless they take place in Moscow, this raises further questions. What strategies will emerge from these high-level discussions? Will the coalition of nations rallying behind Ukraine's interests manage to sway the course of negotiations? It's revealing that the Elysee Palace announced Zelenskyy's upcoming interaction with the so-called Coalition of the Willing, either virtually or in person, on Thursday, followed by a phone call with Trump. This sequence suggests a concerted effort for collective action, but will it bear fruit? As the situation evolves, the world watches closely, eager to see how these diplomatic efforts unfold.